the creation of SikhNet was really a means for me trying to solve and figure things out. More what I always tried to do was create a platform that was people could connect with each other and support each other. And that's still what it is today. You know, you're raised a certain way and you're told to do certain things. And at a certain point in your life, you have to make the choices for yourself.
What has been your personal journey since the time in 1996 you founded SikhNet, and what role has it played in your life?
Yeah. So I think for me, just without going into like history of SikhNet per se, I think, I was just a teenager going through the stuff that everybody goes through. And that are very, let's just say that are common coming up. You're raised a certain way and you're told to do certain things. And at a certain point in your life, you have to make the choices for yourself. And you have to say, all right, my parents telling me to do this, but what does this mean for me? And so I think at that phase of life, I think I was questioning a lot of things in my life and a lot of, the things that my peers were going through, like with drugs and, people wanting to get into relationships and alcohol and all the dramas that go with being a teen. It's a roller coaster. And I have a 19-year-old son and my daughter is 14 and I'm starting to get it on the second round through them. But for me, I think a lot of like the creation of SikhNet was really a means for me trying to solve and figure things out. I never claimed to have all the answers and to be the source or the expert. And what I always tried to do was create a platform that was people could connect with each other and support each other. And that's still what it is today. But as SikhNet evolved, I was evolving with it. Like, I think even a year, probably within the first year or so, when I'd started SikhNet, I was going through my own personal identity crisis. I had started shaving my beard. I was going out to clubs and partying. It wasn't until I met my wife that I kind of like got back on track. And that was a big part because as a young man, being at that age, I wanted to have a relationship and it was kind of pulling me off this other direction and the people I was hanging out with. So that's kind of a thumbnail. And then when I had kids, then it brings in the children component of like, we started doing audio stories for kids because those are the things that I grew up with as a kid going to sleep. And I was like, what do we have for kids that can give them support? So I think, and now as a parent and teenagers and all of this, I think all of these life lessons and things that I'm learning have kind of played into SikhNet and have been kind of a dual, me learning and sharing with everybody else.
Japaji, you made a very good point. So I believe your life partner is someone who can make or break your relationship with Maharaj or your Sikhi way of life. And those who have got a life partner who has strengthened their bond with Maharaj, they have been very lucky, I would say.
Yeah. I think any relation, those of you who are married or in relationships, that for me as a Sikh, I always felt like that our lives revolve around the Guru. And when we have a focus of that spirituality and working on each other, then all these other problems can come. But when it's focused on superficial things like how you look and they didn't do this for me and that, and it's all the dramas of things, then your orbit is not steady. You don't have so I think that to me is been key for the relationship with myself and my wife. We've been married 15 years, 20 years. Anyways, A long time. Don't quiz me on that. I'm like
So,
1999, so not quite.
not at this time when Pansy is next to you
Yes,
in the garden.
I
No.
know. She's my extended memory bank. So when I can't remember something and I just be like, Arjun, and she intuitively just picks it up and knows it. So
But you trust me, you're not alone in this. And so it's like saying, before marriage, you are like a unicycle, which is so hard to cycle, and you get another wheel on, it becomes a bicycle. It's easier to drive. So
yeah.
if I extend that, so when you have kids, does it become easier? No.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I've used an analogy of like martial arts levels, that when you're single, it's just about you. You do whatever. And then when you get married, you're like, that's your white belt. And then when you get married, you have to think about another person. And then when you have kids, it's like the next level. It's not about either of you. It's all about your children. So, and two kids, you say 1 + 1, it does not equal 2. It's 11, or it's
Absolutely.
exponentially harder.